you very much. Thank you for inviting me to come and talk. I'm giving you an update on the freight study that we're doing for England's economic heartland at the moment. I've got about 10 minutes to talk, and then I think there's plenty of time for questions after that. Anthony has already circulated the paper, I believe, which gives you some of the background on our remit and on the approach we're taking. So I won't spend too much time on that. I'd rather spend time on the initial findings and some of the key issues which we're finding. But basically, the idea is to use the study to collect together a lot of information about freight flows to, from, and within England's economic heartland, whether by road or by rail, and to identify what are the issues generally for logistics, what are the issues on the key corridors used, who are the main sorts of users, and very, very importantly, how is that going to change in the future? So how is logistics going to change, and how is that going to impact on the heartland? And also, how will logistics react to the potentially intensive development in the heartland corridor as well? So to do that, we've been analysing the many local authority and LEP transport and freight plans. We've been collecting data and presenting that on the Project View system, which was used for the original transport strategy work. So it gives a very good and interactive visual approach to displaying some of this data. We're consulting with stakeholders.
I'm really interested in your slide, and I may have missed it while I was busy being ill, on the impact of lorry bans and how you intend to treat the impact on air quality issues, which may change with electrification or gas or whatever, but how you intend to approach impact on residents in most significant lorry movements. We have built a couple of roads which take care of lorries because we have some significant distribution sites in the south. But DFT doggedly refuses to transfer powers to councils to enforce lorry bans through residential areas, doggedly. And without somebody enforcing that, building roads for lorries will not prevent a minority coming through urban areas. What do you say to that?
Yes, I think I would start by saying that lorries avoid going through urban areas like the Bay because it adds the cost of the Bay unless they're delivering into the areas. So generally that's the case, but obviously there are rat runs which are a concern. I think these are often local issues which need local solutions. I think what we would be putting into the strategy is, for example, one of the concerns is that various local authorities are introducing ultra-low emission zones or even zero emission zones with electric vehicles only, which are a good thing, and we would support that. But it doesn't help if the standards for the zones or the timing of the zones in terms of hours of the day are different between different cities, because then it makes it very difficult to plan deliveries for the industry. So a common standard for what is a low emission zone, what is a zero emission zone, is the sort of thing that the industry is asking for, and the NIC is certainly suggesting.
I think that I do agree, Nigel, that the enforcement of the lorry bans put in place, and with the work we do there, there's the impact of them. We need to look at the enforcement of them. At the moment, it's either DFT, when it's the police or nobody. They don't. If you do an FOI about how many times they've actually pulled a vehicle over and checked it, you'll get a very small number, something less than one. So I think there is the stuff about if we have that, we can use technology. That should we not be using that, and should that not be devolved down? That's something that the police got better things to do to pull vehicles over.
Yes, exactly.
So should you give it to somebody else?
Yes.
So maybe we just look at some of that.
We used to pay the police. We paid them in off-duty hours, and we had two very successful little blitzers. We issued over the two about 30. That's all. We've got 70% of the lorries off some of our roads, but they've now stopped that. They will not now allow the police to enforce HGV contraventions. So nobody can enforce it.
Yes.
And you're really going to have residents all over you as I mean, I have produced a freight strategy 3 years ago for central Bedfordshire, and almost the headline at the beginning was, will not impact villages and urban when we designated routes for freight, but without enforcement,
You can't force traffic to use it, yes, you need to.
I don't think, actually, I think Councillor Young raised a good point. I don't think the problem's going to go away easily. There is another issue here. So even if a decarbonised vehicle goes through, which will probably have less impact and probably be quieter, in terms of electrification, which is the source of that, it will not work on the 10 to 19% of HGVs. Okay, so we've got a patchwork quilt here in terms of how you actually remove them. So it's not only just control. You are the biggest protagonists are going to be around the longest. Okay, and when there was mention on the slides that were put up about looking at what else we can drive around innovation here, one of the ways to get out of that is actually to get on the back of the hydrogen work at the moment, which is largely aimed at the HGV area. It's running very successfully in Scotland. So Hightrans, the local authority in Aberdeen, are running all their bin lorries already on hydrogen fleet, hugely successful. And there's no reason that we couldn't transfer that technology here. The lorries are actually potentially going to be built in the UK, actually being built in Glasgow. So that there are other things that can be done to mitigate, but I think it is something to worry about because there isn't one solution to do this. And the lorries are going to be the biggest part of the issue in terms of solving it going forward. Because there is no reason why you change a hub and spoke system of delivery at this time, and there won't be for the next 20 years.
I completely agree with that, but there are two issues associated with lorries. One is quality of air. The other is 18-wheelers destroying local infrastructure, which isn't built for 18-wheelers. And I have no difficulty with lorries. This isn't anti-HGV. This is, we built roads for them. A Woodside link, an A5M1 link road. We planned the routes, and the minute the M1's shut, and it is again today, but a bit further north, they just come through the middle of towns. They plague Leighton Buzzard, they plague Bedford. I know they do, because there's no enforcement.
I think enforcement is definitely part of the solution, and improved enforcement. That's something that needs to be looked at. But another part of it is dialogue with the freight users as well.
We've done that.
Why they,
Yeah, but
why they do it.
It has to be carrot and stick.
Yes.
You know, and it'd be much, a lot more carrot than stick, but there needs to be a little bit of stick. Well, now with technology, you know, we can't use ANPR because it has to be a way, and it has to be a warranted officer that gives you ticket, which is absolutely ludicrous, including effectively drug dealers. Mark.
Thank you. I was interested to see about the urban toolkit, which I think is a really sensible thing. But what concerns me is most of the feedback I get, certainly in Buckinghamshire, and I suspect in most part of the geographical areas that we cover, is that it's rural communities that feel very much blighted by HGVs, and they have a louder noise about it. And you know, clearly, I'd like to see their voice being very much heard in a strategy, in a toolkit, so we can do something to alleviate the stresses that they face on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, we certainly should include that, and something about agriculture industry and their needs as well.
Hilary?
Thank you. First of all, I sympathise with Nigel. I've been coughing since Christmas as well, so that's good. Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for this freight strategy. On behalf of all of the local enterprise partnerships and the combined authority across the ARC, logistics is a key sector, particularly a key sector for the South East Midlands in the centre of the ARC, and so features in our local industrial strategy. And as you know, the local industrial strategies are just at the stage of focusing on key themes which government departments will be talking to us about over the next few weeks. So the suggestions for an advanced logistics centre of excellence within the Senlec area, we're pursuing that with Cranfield University, and using this area as a test bed for innovative technologies. Again, we're working with the Transport Systems Catapult. But logistics is a key sector for this area, and we do have an advantage compared with the rest of the country, and it's fast growing, but it is not very high in terms of productivity. So what we need to do is work to use the innovative technologies that we're so good at across the area to improve productivity. So in terms of, you had a question about should EEH be taking some of this forward. May I suggest, Martin, that this is a really good example of how the connectivity theme of the work stream of the ARC fits with the productivity productivity work stream, and that we can work together with the LEPs and BEH on taking this forward.
Thank you very much. Carol?
Just to continue with what Mark was saying about the impact on the rural areas and rural roads, we have a lot of development at the moment in Aylesbury. We've got 16,000 more houses in Aylesbury, and that is without anything from the growth corridor at all. It's the problem with HGVs going to construction sites, and then we're going to have HS2, and we've got East West Rail coming along as well, the construction of that. And it does cause a lot of problems with the rural villages and also with our rural roads. It is just destroying the infrastructure that we have there at the moment. When our residents complain, we're always told that there's a freight strategy coming. So I would hope there will be something in there about the rural areas and how that freight strategy can help alleviate at least some of the problems that we've got, when we're in a growth area.
Thank you. Graham?
Ian, I just want to, I know you've been in touch with our head of freight strategy.
Yes.
We really welcome this piece of work. It's really helpful to look at freight in a multimodal perspective, because it helps us know how rail can contribute, where it contributes best. But if there's anything more we can do to adapt how we're feeding in those wider network flows that start and finish outside the arc, then please just let us know and we'll find a way to do that.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Martin?
I just want to build on Graham's last comment. Members of the forum will remember you had a discussion at the last meeting about the Williams Rail Review, and you'll remember that one of the actions we took out of that was the submission of an initial response to the Williams Review. And it kind of touched on some of the challenge here about the strategic flows. And I think it's been touched on in the presentation, that if you're a freight operating company on the rail network, you've got your road, you've got your route, you've got your path. There's not a commercial incentive for you to change that. There may be a public policy perspective, and you as a forum have had that conversation around your support for the London Mayor's ambition to remove through freight from the rail network in London because of the benefit it brings to passenger operations. And I think this work we're doing now on the strategic one will actually also reinforce the role of some of the investments just across the border from the current heartland boundary. So, for example, I'm looking at Graham, Ely Junction, we all know needs to be sorted out to support improved rail access to and from Felixstowe. With international trade, that becomes more important. Providing capacity on some of those corridors, and indeed or possibly East-West Rail, may require us pushing as a forum through the transport strategy. It's a public sector policy that we need to make this investment, because otherwise the commercial operators will not have an incentive as to why they give up their paths they've got. So I think when we come to the transport strategy, there's some big strategic issues that we want to work with our colleagues in Norfolk and Suffolk, as well as the rest across the heartland, and indeed colleagues in Midlands Connect, because I'm very mindful, I think it's Leicester becomes quite a pinch point for us. So there's an illustration of how we, working with our colleagues either side, need to be pushing some of these pieces of investment just beyond our boundary to the benefit of opportunities within us.
Investment elsewhere to keep freight that isn't coming here away from here would be an option.
So, thank you for that, Ian. The paper is before us and asks us to note the progress made on the freight topic paper, and also the very tight deadlines that you have. So I think we know that, and I think we have given some comments on the conclusion recommendations, and it will come back to us at the future meeting. Happy to agree the recommendations? Thank you very much, Ian.